It feels a bit wobbly. 1, 2, check 1, 2. Welcome. The Black Cyclist is back. Let's go. Summertime. Well, I hope you can all hear me. It's party time on the bike. Riding with the Black Cyclist. I've been gone all summer. It's just been way too hot, people. But I'm back. I'm not sure what's on today's agenda. Well, I know what's on today's agenda. I'm playing it down a little bit. Anyway, nothing too fancy. This is the first indoor cycling ride back in 3 months. I finished in June. It's great to be back. Welcome all. I've got so much to talk about. Right. Shall we get a bit of a menu agenda going on today's chat? I'm going to be refreshing myself with some of the new changes to Zwift, so I'm going to have to re-familiarise myself with the Zwift menu. So we look at the Zwift menu, see what's going on there. I've been swimming every morning all through the summer, so I'm going to talk to you about my swimming and fitness regime, my gym and training. And also, if you're watching live, either on Twitch or on YouTube, my favourite place to be, feel free to pop a chat, pop a question in the chat. Big shout out to everyone who's watching live. Big up yourself. You got something that you want to celebrate, new bike, new gains, a new PB, or just questions about cycling. Zwift, this indoor cycling lark. Bring it! Come on. The Black Cyclist is here. Doja the cat is in the background. Oh yes, it's great to be back. I've missed you all, so thank you for tuning in. If you're already subscribed, thank you for subscribing. If not, there's a little button around here somewhere just for subscribing. I'll be very grateful if you hit the subscribe. Let's get ourselves, to be fair, I've reached 2,000 subs now, so thank you to all. Next target's 3,000. Sharing our love of cycling. Woo. Right, how are we looking? Shall we get started? Oh, my Garmin's set for outdoor. Let me just do a little bit of tweaking on the Garmin. So you can see that I've definitely been I've not been shirking. Right, here we go. So let's just exit this ride. Whew. Discard. Okay. Garmin set for indoor. Okay, right, so welcome. Get a little bit of let's get my mic. So I might not be familiar with some of the hotkeys that I had set before I finished my break for the summer, so you might have to bear with me some of the little shortcuts and the extra features that I had set up before. It's going to take me a while to get used to those again, but it's great to be back, so thank you for tuning in. I think for now, I'm just because this is a bit loud in my ears, I'm just going to pause that music for a second. Thank you for tuning in, really appreciate it. Anyone on Twitch, say hi. Anyone on YouTube, also say hi. So, right, so this is Zwift, for anyone who hasn't seen this before. So Zwift is an online cycling game. We have our bike, we attach our bike to our turbo trainer, which is at the back of the bike here. And as you pedal, it translates everything that you do on the bike onto the screen. So we have this app here in front of me or behind me. So this is the Zwift app here, and you have lots of different things that you have on here. So what I'm going to do, just to get us started quickly, and then I'm going to start the music, is I'm just going to jump on to what these are called the RoboPacers. So let's jump on this one, flat route, nothing particular, 1.5 watts per kilogram. So nice and easy, so nothing too taxing. I get that rolling, we get the music started again, and we're talking a little bit about what this all is. So, music, maestro. So I hope the volumes and whatnot are okay. How you doing, Alan? Nice to see you. Thanks for joining. You're first, number one. You got a number one crown. Thank you. Nice to get some local support. I hope you're well. Right, so this is the Zwift. Is my volume okay, Alan? Anyway, so this is the Zwift. So if you don't want to think too much about what you want to ride, you just want to jump on, then you're better off just jumping onto what's called the RoboPacers. These used to be called pace partners. So these are just 24/7. That you've got different robots that will ride at set speeds. So as I said at the start, this one's going to be riding at a constant speed of about 1.5 watts per kilogram. So you can just go around, you can ride in a group, and there's no pressure really, just maintain riding with the pace partner. You can go around, you can collect XP, and if you've not used Zwift before, this is probably the perfect way to get yourself familiarised with this indoor cycling. And yeah, now I'm kind of falling behind a bit, so I need to pick up my pace. So I'm starting to pedal a little bit harder. And eventually, I will slot in. A marker will come up in a bit. That will just remind me I'm getting closer. And here I am, I'm in the bunch. And this is where you want to ride. Within the bunch. That yellow flag beacon is the pace partner. Now I'm on my BMX bike. I'm so out of touch, I've not even got my companion app open or anything. Right, let's get that open. Probably needs an update. So anyway, so everyone riding here is another real person, apart from the robot, just like me, and they're going to be riding their bike in their homes, maybe a garage, maybe a hallway, connected to the Zwift app. You have a little roll call of riders all down here. You can see me, Black Cyclist, and this is like a nice pace. As I say, I'm going about 1.5 watts per kilogram. She's like a nice zone 2 leisurely stroll. You can still burn some calories, get the legs spinning. Nice for a warm-up. So if you're doing an event or maybe a race, jump onto one of the RoboPacers, start spinning the legs, and it's definitely better than if you was to sit at home in front of a wall on an exercise bike, just grinding out, but you know, nothing to look at. So this is like interactive. I've also got, let's get the companion app. Working. You can also do things like ride-ons and stuff. Do power-ups, virtual power-ups. So it's kind of like the gamification of Zwift. So a bit like Mario Kart, although rather than just sitting on your butt using a controller, it's your legs that are actually driving the avatar in front. So I need to figure out why I can't currently control right. So who we got? Oh, okay, so we've got quite a lot of people that have tuned in. Welcome to all. Looks like the YouTube views are beating Twitch 10-1. Feel free to shout out whatever area you hail from. I'm assuming my mic's working. My mic working. Can you all hear me? I'm not just talking to myself, am I? Am I talking to... Oh, okay, I can see levels on the mic. So it should be good. Tell me if I'm not... Oh, I've got to pedal. Right, yeah, stop pedaling and everyone leaves you behind. Woo. So I've been gone for, let's call it 3 months. If there's anyone who's watching, I've got, wow, 16 viewers. If there's anyone watching who also uses Zwift and you've been riding through the summer, been way too hot for me to ride through the summer, what is it? Is there anything that's been added to the game that I've missed? We can talk about some of the latest tech that's about to come out from Zwift. So they've got the new Zwift Play controllers that are coming out, and they're like £50, $50, 50 euros, and that's going to go onto just your handlebars. And I'm really interested in getting one because they look a lot better, because they're a lot smaller than the original ones that clip next to your brake levers. I'm not sure about being made to get the Zwift hub though. I don't need the Zwift hub, but still, for £50, I think that's still a fair price. Think of it as being the equivalent as to having to maybe buy a cassette to go on this turbo trainer. But I just want the controllers. I think they'd be quite handy. So I'm going to try those out. I think they launch tomorrow on the 9th. If I'm lucky, I might even be able to catch up Bernie. It's got to just pedal a bit harder. Oh, come on. BMX Bandit. I'm on the BMX, baby. Chilling. Right, so I said I was going to talk a little bit about some of the stuff I've been doing over the summer. So even though I've not been streaming live at 5, Mondays and Thursdays, I am back now. The sun's still out, but it's not as hot as it was, so can be a lot cooler in the wattage cottage. Talking of which, let me just get some more fans on in here. Woo! Yeah, 2 sets of fans. Definitely an essential for if you are indoor cycling. Get yourself as many fans as you can fit in your room. I have 2, one at the front and one at the side. Okay, so I've finally caught up Bernie and the rest of this group. So now, as I struggle to get some of my breath back, it's time for me to talk about some of the success I've been having with my training over the summer. So obviously I've not been streaming live or doing indoor cycling, but I have been out on the bike, trying to make it out early morning before the sun gets too hot, or late evening. So you might have seen me riding around the Coventry, Warwickshire and Birmingham area. I've got a couple of videos out riding around Nuneaton, just talking about some local sites, stopping and talking to people, spreading the good love of cycling and just how great us lycra clad cyclists are. I mean, the lycra's optional, but definitely keeps you more aero, streamlined. Talking of streamline, so I've been adding some improvements to my fitness. So I don't just cycle, I go to the gym twice a week on a weekend, Saturday and Sunday. I basically get a week's worth of weight training done on the weekend. So I do a solid hour each day, but I'm, no rest in between each set. In the week though, before I start my working day, I do swim. So I do a mile every day in the pool, and I've been spending the summer trying to improve my swimming by just looking at some of the science behind swimming, looking at my technique and just trying to improve my form. I should do the same with cycling, really, but I'm focusing on swimming for the moment. Been really working on my stroke. If there's any swimmers in the chat, make yourself known. Let's share some tips and advice. So I've been working on my swim stroke, mainly my catch and my pull. Recovery's fine. making sure that I'm being as efficient as I can when it comes to swimming, being as relaxed as possible, nice relaxed breathing, trying to stay as streamlined as I can in the water. And I'm finding I'm making some real gains, so that's all good. And you know what, the stronger I become in the pool, the stronger I become on the bike. So all of these things just add to everything that's going to benefit me cycling or not. Right, so I've got the companion app working. I'll be able to press this power up. I'll press it off now. So I've got the draft power up. You see the truck? So this gives me like the draft effect. Right now, because I'm riding in this group of cyclists, I'm being sheltered by the wind. Woo. So it makes it a little bit easier for me as we go up this hill. Now the turbo trainer that I'm on is a direct drive interactive turbo trainer. So as this gradient changes, it's currently 5%. That's the steepness of this hill. Turbo trainer adjusts, so the resistance makes it really feel like it's 5%. I ain't lying. Trust me, this sweat isn't just coming out for fun. Been pushing so hard, I've left Bernie behind. Welcome to the new viewers, thank you for tuning in. Really do appreciate it. It's great to have such a big audience tuned in on my first stream back after the summer. I mean, technically it's still summer, but you know, the bulk of it is gone. Yep. Right, should I slow down a bit for Bernie? Have a drink. I'll also do some of the views. So here you go. So let's have a closer look at my my BMX bike. Here you go. Look at that. I was so chuffed when I won this BMX. You can only win it by competing in certain events in Zwift. Come on, Bernie, catch up. Come on, Bernie. And it reminds me of the 80s. Yes, I'm a child of the 80s. I had a BMX back in the day. It wasn't as cool as this, but if it was, I would have, without a doubt, been the coolest kid on the block. Definitely one of my most memorable bike experiences. The BMX, watching that film BMX Bandits. Nicole Kidman was in BMX Bandits, and there was another bike as well called the Rally Grifter. Remember that? Anyone remember the Rally Grifter? So obviously I've got this obsession with bikes to the fact that I ride indoors, I ride outdoors. I've created a whole online persona focused around bikes and cycling, and I've also been working on another video, should be out. I mean, I'm taking my time with it because I just feel so passionate about it, but I've looked into the history of bikes. So there was a guy called James Starley, who invented the modern bike and the modern wheel that we know today. And that was in Coventry. Now I'm just literally down the road from Coventry. So I've been doing a little bit of Coventry history and also some history of the bike. Welcome, Jasper. You want to buy a bike mainly for losing weight and also getting out? Yeah. Whatever it is that that gets you motivated. So and the thing is if it's just for riding and sort of like getting out there. Right, so you've actually asked a very valid question, Jasper. So think about where do you think you're going to be doing most of your riding. So if you're going to be riding on roads that pretty much look like what you can see on this screen, then a road bike's fine. But if you think you might also do a bit of sort of like country parks, you want to adventure off-road, then a gravel bike is going to give you more options. And effectively, a gravel bike is a road bike. It just might have slightly different geometry. So whereas a road bike is about being punched down, you know, you're primed for speed. Comfort comes separate, comes secondary. With a gravel bike, it's still a road bike, but some of the features are a little bit relaxed. So you're going to have a more upright position because you're likely to be in the saddle for longer, and speed's not a priority. You're also going to have bigger sort of like wheel and tyre clearance. You'll have thicker tyres. And the thicker tyres are going to give you more grip for off-road, but more grippy and knobbly tyres aren't going to give you a lot of speed on roads like this. So it's like a balance between the two. So you think you'll do both? Okay. I think I'd probably say go for a gravel bike, because at least that way then you could still change your tyres if you needed to. If you wanted to go road, you could always change your tyres or even just change the wheels. Then you've got something that's more road specific, and at least that way then you're not restricting yourself. Depends on how often you think you're going to ride. I mean, I'm greedy, but also quite fortunate that I'm able to have a choice of bike. So I've got a different bike depending on what sort of riding I want to do. Just wondering, should I go for entry level or mid-range? So Jasper, that is the ultimate question, and I think only you can decide that. So what I think I would do, I'd think about what you want to do with the bike, and if you're not competing, then there's certain features that you obviously don't particularly need. So you don't need something that focuses on being aerodynamic. You don't necessarily need to be buying the lightest bike or the lightest components. Now, with road cycling, you'll find the lighter the bike or the components, the more expensive. So you'll kind of pitch there, but you also might want to go for a particular brand because you like that brand confidence. So me personally, I favour Shimano. So I'd personally lean more towards Shimano rather than SRAM. They're both equally as good as each other. It just comes down to preference. So if I'm right, Jasper, you're looking for just a bike just to do some nice leisure riding. Okay, I wouldn't go too expensive. Are you what part of the world are you based in? Are you UK or are you outside of the UK? If you're in the UK, we have this cycle to work scheme where you can buy a bike through your employer and you actually get it through your salary. So, and I think if you're returning to cycling, so budget, you also don't want it to be something that would break. Yeah, absolutely. So I think, personally, I think there's a price bracket between your everyday occasional rider. I'm on a quote, mostly pounds. I might also throw in dollars as comparison, just because I have about 40% of my viewers are actually in the US. So I think a lot of the bikes, definitely in the UK, are pitched at that £1,000 mark as like entry level for someone who's more than just a beginner, a bit more of a enthusiast. You see from the Philippines. Okay, so £1,000, maybe $1,200 seems to be where most bikes are pitched at in the UK. When you've gone from your everyday traditional sort of £300-400 bike you might get from somewhere like Decathlon or Halford, like a Walmart type bike. And it's not to say that you can't spend between £500 and £800 or dollars on a bike. I'm talking brand new prices here, and that's more than decent suspension. Well, I'm talking mountain bike, so yeah, you know, decent frame, properly steel. You might not necessarily get a carbon bike for under £1,000, but as I say, the lighter you go, the more expensive. But I think you definitely want to be spending above that £500, $600 mark. And then it's about brackets. If you can spend something in up to that £1,000 range, then you'll definitely be in good standing. And after you're able to avoiding, that bike will still have a decent value. You can sell that, trade that in towards another bike. Then you've got your sort of like £1,000 to £1,500 bracket. There's not that much difference between something that's sort of like between 800 and 1,000. It's where you get differences between instead of being like an aluminium bike, you might get carbon instead, or you might have Shimano sort of like Tiagra gear system, and that might upgrade to say Shimano 105. But in reality, I think you'll find a bike that fits within your budget and just go from there. Hi Jeffrey, Anthony, welcome. Thank you for joining. We're just talking everything bikes, sharing tips. This is my first day back on Zwift after the summer off. Welcome Martin, sorry. Welcome, hi everyone. Love the viewers, love the chats. You can ask me anything cycling or fitness related. We are here to share. If you've got something you want to celebrate, maybe a new bike, a new PB, some sort of gains that you've achieved. Yeah, sharing is caring. We're just talking about what's possibly the best sort of bike for Jasper to get. So, a 1x or 2x. So, I've got so many bikes and they're all very different. So this bike that I'm on now, this bike pretty much stays on this turbo trainer. This bike was £1,000. It's carbon, so it's a Ridley carbon. It's similar to the Phoenix, and it's a 2 at the front and 10 speed. Although my gravel bike, my latest gravel bike is a 1x. And my first gravel bike, my Specialized, is a 2x. I think 1x tends to be the more popular option. On the one hand, you're going to have weight savings because you've got less rings at the front. But also, unless you're doing really sort of like hilly climbs, you probably don't need the second set of rings. It's all down to the sort of riding you're going to do. But I think an 11 or 12 speed 1x12 should be more than enough gear changes to get you through. And if not, you can always get a bigger cassette for the back. Get like a 42 tooth or a 40. I just probably wouldn't go with a 25. Yes, that's right, Martin. Yeah, it depends on where you ride and where you're used to. So if you're mostly riding flat, sort of, you know, an 1125 is going to be like a really fast cassette, but you might run out of gears when you're climbing up a steep hill. So Martin's a roadie, originally used 2x and live in the flat Netherlands. Yes, not that many hills over in the Netherlands. Martin also rides his gravel bike, would never go for a 1x. Oh, you can never go for 1x. Okay. So my latest Ribble CGR is a 1x. And I don't mind it. I'm kind of in this position now where I've been watching a lot of mountain bike videos over the summer. I started off BMX, then mountain bike. I only really got into road biking in, say, 2020. And I'm missing my mountain biking, and I'm thinking, maybe it's time for me to buy a mountain bike again. And I'm thinking, do I go for an e-mountain bike? And I know that's technically cheating, but isn't it just the future? And it's about being able to get up. I mean, it's a whole different sort of riding. I don't know, I'm still torn. I don't think I will ever go completely full e-bike. Something about cranking out all of that power yourself, struggling up a hill. I mean, that's part of the enjoyment. It's not just the views, but I get that having an e-bike, having that motor might push you to ride to places where you probably wouldn't go before. You know, more of the exploring. So I think I'll probably get one. I'd probably want to take it all over Scotland, maybe take it abroad, do some real off-road, these sorts of scenes, like what I can see here, but not on the road, elsewhere. So e-mountain bike, I've been looking at the canyons. So I've missed some of these chats. I got a bit lost in reminiscing about e-mountain bikes I was going to get. So let's have a look. Group set, recommend. I mean, Jasper, I mean, group set, I mean, if you're not pro, I don't think it really matters really. I think it's what you're used to. And I think I'm just used to, I've always used Shimano. So I'm just used to Shimano. If I would have started with SRAM, I would have said, you know, I'm probably SRAM. I don't think there's that much difference. My Ribble bike, my Ribble Endurance, when it came to getting that, the original spec they had it on, they was going for the SRAM E-TAP gears, but I really wanted 105. So I did like, I swapped that out on the build, because you can custom pick your build. And it's not that I think I wouldn't have liked the SRAM. I think because I've got so many bikes, I've got like probably too many bikes. I know you don't say that out loud, but I think like I'm just used to how Shimano shift, and I do ride my different bikes. Sometimes I might ride, you know, like 3 different bikes in 1 week. And I don't want to have to think about different setting, different gear switching and whatnot. So I'm just used to Shimano. So I think it doesn't really matter personally. I think you'll find one will work for you. And I think it's probably just pot luck down to which bike has the setup that you have. I think Shimano and SRAM are the leaders. Okay, so, right. Martin is just too used to 2-bys. So hard getting used to anything. Well, to be fair, you've got one less thing to worry about on your left shifter. And your chain's not going to come off. One less thing to service. One less brake, one less gear cable to have to worry about. So having an e-bike must be how it's also with Superman. With that one. I've been looking. I've watched so many videos. I think I'm probably going to want to go for the Bosch motor. Is it Gen 5 is the latest? And the biggest battery possible. I think one of my, all the music stopped. I think one of my upcoming videos, my lives, I should probably do a live stream where I start looking at some of the different e-bikes. Maybe get some videos up, and then we can see what the best preferences are. What do you reckon? Sound good? Is there any music? Can't hear any music. Music. What's that, 105? Max maybe 105, then budget maybe a Tiagra. Right, so this bike I'm on here now is Tiagra. There is nothing wrong with Tiagra. As I say, this bike was £1,000. when I got this bike back in 2020. Tiagra's on here. I've had no problems whatsoever. I did an Everesting on here, so 8,880 miles up a virtual outdoors. There's no difference. Yes, 105 does feel smoother. There's nothing wrong with Tiagra. So I think if you was having to make a choice between spending maybe an extra 100, 200 pounds on 105 over Tiagra, but it meant that you had to sacrifice somewhere else, I'd probably say just go Tiagra. Yeah, I can't figure out why this music isn't working. Seems to have I think I've done something. Let me figure this out. What have I done? Okay. Right, I'll be there in just a second. Right, success! We're back again! The music is playing. See, music plays, I come alive again. I'm alive! Right, okay, so we were talking bikes. Ooh, I'm shouting too much now. You're gonna subscribe? Oh, okay, yes. Subscribe, always subscribe, doesn't matter what I'm doing. We like the subscribers, thank you very much. And you can always pop me a chat. You can find my contact details. I have a QR code. Feel free to reach out to me on any of my socials. I really am about spreading the love of cycling. So anything you want to share, you want to ask a question, you want some tips, you want to hear about my setup, reach out in any way you feel appropriate. Catch me live on Mondays and Thursdays, sometimes on a Saturday, depends. Thank you for the follow, appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who's watching as well. Appreciate that too. It's been a really nice welcome back. I mean, I was supposed to start at 5 and I was a little bit late because it's a little bit rusty. You know, trying to set everything up. My Twitch had deauthorised, cameras had reset. The only thing that was working was the music. But I've also got a virtual tweet deck, so I've got some shortcuts so I can do some scene changes and whatnot. I mean, all those things are good. It just makes the chat, I think, more interactive, gives you something more exciting to look at. Things like skins, so you can change the look of my bike, etc. All good. I do like to try and make this stream as interactive as possible. So without you guys chatting, it means I'm pretty boring or I'm just talking to myself. Then at the end of it, I do condense this hour or so down, try and get the most exciting bits of it, put some shorter videos up. But yeah, I do like to give a shout out to anyone who has a mention in the chat, so thank you for everyone who's chatted. This has been really good, this is so 33 minutes. I'm probably not going to do the full hour, maybe go for another 10, 20 minutes, see how the leg feels. Yeah, I think So, Martin, so I think normally I would have jumped on this towards the end of September, early October. It just gets way too hot here. So literally, I finish work, I do a lot of work from home, and when I get into this is what I call my wattage cottage, so like my gym room / studio. If you want to see the setup, I've got some videos on here somewhere, and yeah, I start off and it's 32 degrees, and obviously even with my 2 fans on, cooling everything, by the time I finish I could have gained another 5, maybe 6 extra degrees, and it's just way too hot. So I do take a physical break, end of May, start of June, summer off, and then back on. But I've missed Zwift. I'm getting the emails. I had that email about the new Zwift play controller button. I was like, okay, it looks as if there's a load of new things starting on Zwift. I'm really loving the training. I'm buzzing off my training at the moment. Swimming's going really well. Diet, a bit mixed. I'm a little bit heavier than I normally am, only by about 4 kilograms. So, but that's partly because I haven't been cycling as much. So once I'm back on the bike again, you know, cycling 5 days a week, there's that extra calorie burn. So when I'm not on the bike, I'm probably between 3,000 to 4,000 calories not burned. So I probably burn between 3 to 4, sometimes even 5,000 calories a week on the bike. So an hour on the bike, usually I'm burning between 650 and 750 calories. So if I'm doing less cycling, yeah, I'm still eating the same. You can slowly put on a few pounds. Not that I'm not bothered, because as I say, I do really buzz off riding the bike, streaming, chatting to you guys. It really keeps me motivated. Gives me a reason to jump on. I mean, not that I need a reason. I mean, the gains and just the enjoyment, but knowing that you've got a dedicated stream, and you know, I like talking. But by the way, so I'm in the UK. So I'm from Birmingham originally, which is right in the middle. I'm just outside at the moment, North Warwickshire, which is literally like 10 miles out from Birmingham. So just near to Coventry. I'm surrounded by lots of green fields and spaces. It's beautiful. If you check out some of my recent videos, you'll get an idea as to where I live. It's a city, but it's still very, to be fair, most of England and Great Britain is pretty green. We have so much green spaces. But I'm kind of blessed here because there's lots of parks, lakes, there's lots of walking routes, there's lots of cycle routes. Really am fortunate. And there's mountain bike, I've got mountain bike routes, and yeah, just literally 20 miles away, a place called Cannock Chase. I'm all blessed, very blessed. I like discovering old railway lines that they've converted into shared lanes for cycling and walking. Get a bit of history as well. I'm a historian, you see. That's what I studied. I do work in higher education as well. So I like to mix a bit of history and exploring and cycling. So you've been to Birmingham? Stayed just outside the city. Felt like I was gonna run into a hobbit. Yes. I love Birmingham, so yeah, I'm born and bred in Birmingham. Lived in Birmingham my whole life. I've moved around the country, lived in Oxford for 4 years. I was working at one of the universities there. Not the main one, the other one up the hill, Oxford Brookes. But yeah, Birmingham will always be my home, city that I love. I was actually brought up on the outskirts of Birmingham, a place called Rubery, which was near Longbridge, where the Austin Rover factory was. And interestingly enough, the Rover car started out as a bike. Oh, thank you. Yeah. I mean, doesn't necessarily mean I go around, you know, like doing historical stuff. It's just what I specialised at in uni. So I did my undergraduate and my postgraduate in history. So yeah, so I did a joint degree. So I did history and deaf studies, so we also do British Sign Language. And originally I wanted to be a teacher, so I was going to be a history teacher in a deaf school. So I tended to focus more on sort of like the history curriculum that would have been taught in school. So Victorian Britain, Revolutionary Ireland, that sort of stuff. And then I did a master's in conflict studies, and I focused on a lot of sort of like migration, sort of like into and out of Europe, sort of like Prussia, sort of like the sort of like growth of the Industrial Revolution. I looked at sort of like war and conflict, military intelligence, Islamophobia, control of information. Yeah, so I really loved my postgrad. My postgrad was amazing. And at some point I will start my PhD. I'm just, it's a big commitment. I'm just not sure when I want to do it. But I work in universities as well, so I'm kind of at home. Yeah, so I have looked at sort of like British colonialism. That was more at A level. So I'm familiar with it, but I'd like to say I'm more of a social historian rather than a revisionist historian, or like the old man type style of history. You know, looks at, you know, like kings and queens and sort of like, you know, like British colonialism, sort of like rise and fall of empire. I mean, they're some of my favourite subject areas at rise and fall of empire. You know, especially my parents are from the Caribbean, so my parents came over here in the 60s, not part of Windrush, just afterwards. But my grandma and my granddad came over. My mum was 8 when she came over, so you know, so I'm familiar with that side of it from the black side, the Caribbean side history, but also as a Brit, sort of like born and educated and born and raised in England, but then also studying that beyond what you learn at basic, you know, level 1 GCSE, level 2 college. So I have taken it up as high as level 7, but I kind of like, you know, the sort of like causes and consequences, or what are the implications of a certain historical act, you know, what are the lessons that have been learned, you know. So my dissertation, my master's, was looking at racial conflicts in Britain from the 1950s. So that was quite interesting. Anyway, I'll probably switch off most of the viewers if it's just a stream about history. I mean, I know it's my stream and it can all be about me. So what's your story, Martin? I mean, please don't share anything that you don't feel comfortable sharing. Don't give out any personal identifiers, not unless you want to, but be responsible for yourself, please. So similar to your dad, coming to the Netherlands from Indonesia at the age of 8. Okay. So I'm going to assume you're Indonesian as an ethnic origin based on that. Yeah, so we seem to be, yeah, absolutely, it really is, and it sounds as if it's as personal to you as it is to me. So we're both descendants of sort of like of global colonialism, and when the Dutch were more prolific than the Brits. I mean, a lot of people don't even realise that America wasn't first discovered, I say that in inverted commas, by the Brits. It was the Dutch first. New York was actually New Amsterdam first, a year before, Then the Brits came. The Brits had it. I mean, the Dutch all over Africa. Pretty much, yeah, the Dutch, German, Spanish, and the Brits pretty much did most of the colonising back in the day. 85% Dutch. Indonesian grandma was half Indo, half Dutch German. Yeah, that's it. So I remember doing a module in my undergraduate where we was looking at migration, sort of like towards the end of the Victorian period, so like the late 18th, early 19th century, you know, as the growth of industrialisation and people moving out of the Prussian states, migration from Ireland and England. Yeah, all very interesting, all very, very interesting. Right, I've done way more cycling than I thought I would, and that's the thing about cycling and talking. It makes you forget that you're putting out effort. So I really, really enjoyed this chat. Thank you very much, Martin. If you're subscribed, I'm sure you'll see my notification. So I'm about to wrap up today's ride. I did think I'd probably do half an hour, easing myself in. I'm Ken Dizzle, the Black British Cyclist. I cycle for fun, share my gains, my bants, information, anything about training. I'm into things like going to the gym, swimming daily, some tech reviews, and I'm live Mondays and Thursdays at 5-ish. Usually I start at 5. You can be tuned in, waiting for me to join. Music playing in the background, happy, positive vibes. Any questions you may have about cycling, indoor, turbo trainers, bikes, fitness training, maybe this Thursday, or maybe next week Monday actually, I'm going to be doing a stream where I'm looking at a new e-bike. I want to get an e-bike. So I might have a little sneak peek on Thursday at some of the ones that I've been considering. A couple by Canyon, I think there's a couple by Giant that I need to take a look at. But I might spend a bit more time actually trying to prepare some example videos, do some comparisons. And if you want to tune in, have your 10 cents, 5 cents, 2 cents, or 1 pence, give me some recommendations on what to avoid, what to look for, or welcome. Pop something in the chat of any of my videos if you have any questions or comments. If I'm prepared, and mostly I am, I do actually post the upcoming stream at least 2 or 3 days before, so you can pop something in the chat, ask the question about what's on the agenda. I'm Ken Dizzle, the Black Cyclist. I cycle for fun. Thanks for watching. Let yourself go. Don't know why it says that. But anyway, I'm about to end this stream. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you again soon.